Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of Summertime. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, sorry, I know this video's late, I asked you guys to send in questions that you had concerning the Bible, God, etc. And this week I'm going to spend time answering some of those questions. With that being said, let's jump right into our first question. If Adam and Eve were the only people and they had kids, how did the world populate? Long story short, there's a lot of different theories out there, but it ultimately boils down to what the Bible says. And the Bible doesn't really say how it happened. There's a lot of different theories out there, but long story short is the Bible doesn't say, so we can't ever really be sure how it happened, when it happened, why it happened, all these different things. So our second question is, why are people so afraid to think that the impossible can happen now and in the Bible, biblical times? This is a very broad question, but how I would answer it is people aren't afraid to believe the impossible. People are afraid to believe the impossible won't happen. And what I mean by this is nobody's afraid to hope that they win the lottery. Nobody's afraid to hope that they'll get that guy or they'll get that girl. However, what they are afraid of is wasting the money on the lottery ticket and not winning. What they are afraid of is putting themselves out there and then it not working out with that person. Nobody's afraid to believe for the impossible. They're afraid to believe that the impossible won't happen in their lives. Which brings me to my third question, which is, why did God create mosquitoes? As a Floridian, I ask this question quite often. I tried to investigate this a little bit, and what I discovered was actually the vast majority of mosquitoes are not blood-sucking, and that these non-blood-sucking mosquitoes actually help kind of pollinate nature and the world and stuff like that. As for the blood-sucking ones, though, I have no idea. Maybe it's because we sinned and now we've got mosquitoes. I have no idea. The fourth question I got is, what does the Bible say about cremation? And long story short is, it doesn't really talk much about it. Historically, Christians have believed in burial over cremation, and this has been because generally it was pagan cultures that would cremate, or they would somehow fear that it would affect the afterlife and salvation and different things like that, but the Bible itself does not say that cremation is right or that cremation is wrong. So what it ultimately boils down to is preference. Which brings me to my fifth and final question for this week. What are the essentials of Christianity? Very basic. Here's what you need to know. We've all messed up. We are all sinners. We've made mistakes. We've fallen short too. There's punishment for doing bad things. 3. Jesus came down to earth as fully man, fully God, completely perfect, and took our place to receive that punishment. 4. Jesus died on the cross, but rose again 3 days later, defeating death, sin, and the devil. 5. All we have to do is believe and accept that, and that's the basic, absolute necessities of the Christian faith. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I enjoyed answering these questions and investigating them. Send in more. I love this kind of stuff. With all that being said, my friend, you are loved, you are valued, and you have purpose. You just have to keep pursuing hope.